Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be testing out the infamous velvet sponge that has gone viral on Instagram and YouTube. It's the Juno & Co. velvet sponge. It looks like this. And yeah, I'm just really excited to put this to the test. I'm actually going to be doing a product battle. So I'm going to be doing half of my face with the beauty sponge and half of my face with the velvet sponge. So we're gonna see which one I like best, if there's even a difference. If you guys wanna see who won this product battle, please keep watching. Okay, so are we ready to put the velvet sponge to the test? I've had this sitting here for a while, haven't opened it. This is the little package it comes in, and it just says Juno Co. velvet sponge. Okay, so I actually got this sponge for $1 because they were doing like a sale around the holidays where you could get it for $1, but it's actually normally $6, which is still cheaper than the beauty blender, which is like $20. I usually use the Morphe sponge, which I think is also $6. So I'm just gonna read the description of this sponge. So it says, if you're looking for a more natural airbrushed foundation finish, the Juno Microfiber Velvet Sponge is your go-to. Made with velvet soft microfiber bristles and a slanted edge for controlled stippling, the Juno Microfiber Velvet Sponge provides buildable coverage fast. If you scroll down on the website and say how to use, it says you can use it wet or you can use it dry. So what I think I'm going to do is actually do half of my face with the velvet sponge and half of my face with the Morphe sponge, just so I can like literally see if there's any difference. So yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go open this and wet both of my sponges. This is the sponge up close. It has a flat bottom and then a flat side here, and then the rest is rounded. Okay, so I already primed my skin. I used the Tarte Quench Primer and then the Milk Makeup Blurring Stick. And so yeah, these are the two sponges wet, so they did get a little bit bigger. So I'm going to be using my trusty Dior Face and Body foundation, just because I want to use a foundation that I know I can rely on, so I can kind of compare the two sides. And obviously my face is wider than my body, theme on my channel, because I did fake tan. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. Now I know how James Charles feels with the sirens, because that ain't it. So on this side of my face, I'm gonna go in with my Morphe Beauty Sponge. So this isn't exciting, I'll just skip through this, you know. Okay, so now that I'm done with the Morphe side, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the velvet sponge. Okay, so it just says to tap it in, just like you would do any other sponge, so I guess we'll just... Whoa. Okay, that made this foundation way more full coverage. Okay, that's crazy. I hope they were able to tell in that video. I used the same amount of foundation, but it looks way more full coverage. I think that it's because this sponge doesn't absorb as much product, so I think that's why it looks like so much is on. That's so crazy. It does feel really soft on my skin. So this is the side of my face with the beauty sponge, and this is the side of my face with the velvet sponge. I think that this side is definitely more full coverage. On this side you can see a little bit of my spots and just discoloration, and this side definitely not. Like, it made this foundation way more full coverage. Now we're just gonna continue with my makeup routine. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with concealer. I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Age Rewind, my favorite concealer ever. I'm gonna go ahead and blend out this side of my face with my Morphe sponge. Then I'm taking the velvet sponge. I'm just gonna go on this side. I still think that it looks more coverage on this side with the sponge. I don't know if it's easier to tell with the concealer. So this side has the velvet sponge and this side has the Morphe sponge. To me, it looks like there's a little bit more coverage on this side, but I don't know if it's gonna pick up on the camera. Okay, so now I'm going to use this sponge to set my under eyes, which I'm also kind of interested on how that's going to go. I'm just gonna be using my Coty Airspun Loose Powder in Naturally Neutral. And okay, I'm gonna go ahead and blend out my creases on this side and then just bake as I would normally do. And then I'm gonna take the flat side of the velvet sponge and do the same thing. Loose powder and baking. Okay. Seems pretty normal. Again, there's a whole bunch of powder left on the sponge, whereas when I do it with this sponge, I put the same amount of powder and there's barely any powder left on the sponge. So again, I think that this velvet sponge is not soaking up as much of your product, which I feel like is actually really good, because then you're getting more use out of your product. Like, for example, I'm almost out of this foundation, and I feel like if I'm going to be using this sponge, it's going to be making sure that my foundation goes a long way. So I'm just going to finish the rest of my face, and then I'll show you guys just kind of that carving baking that I do with the powder as well. Okay, so I went ahead and went in with some bronzer and contour, and now I'm going to use that same Coty Airspun powder to carve out my contour just to clean it up a little bit. Again, I'm going to be using the Morphe sponge on this side, and then I'm going to be using the velvet sponge on the other. Again, so much powder is left on this sponge, whereas on the Morphe sponge, there's really barely any powder left. That is so crazy to me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and then I'll be back and let you guys know my final thoughts on the velvet sponge. Okay, we are back, and I just finished getting ready. I just did something really light because I'm lazy and I'm not going anywhere. So, okay, so my final thoughts on the velvet sponge. I feel bad because mine looks all gross now. One thing is I am gonna need to figure out how to clean this thing, because with my beauty sponges, I usually use like the Beauty Blender, like solid cleaner, and you just like run it under water and kind of rub it on there. But I wouldn't want to ruin like the bristles that are on here, so I'm gonna have to look up how to clean this. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I really do feel like this does not soak up as much of your product. So I think that this is actually a better option than the normal beauty sponge, because one, there's no strokes or anything. Like it went on just as well as the Beauty Blender does, but it's like twice the coverage. Like I swear, as soon as I put on my foundation, I was like shook, because that foundation is not like full coverage. I would say that foundation is more medium coverage, but with this sponge, it made it full coverage. And the same thing with the powder, is there's still leftover powder on here. So I feel like I need to use just less product when I use this, which is always good, because that means you're saving money, you're making your products last as long as they're supposed to. This sponge, and I'm definitely going to continue to use it as my everyday sponge. And yeah, I would say that the winner of this product battle, if I had to choose one, is definitely the velvet sponge. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this product battle between the velvet sponge and the beauty sponge. I think that it went really well, and I'm really excited about this product. So if you guys want to see more of these product battle type of videos, or just anything else that you want me to try, do crazy products out, please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter to stay updated. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.
Pretty soon, I'ma take your phone, or you should hide it in your pockets until you get home. Don't wanna see no tweets.